Hey folks, Deano here again. This time taking another look at a Bandai Gundam Wing model kit. This is the high grade After Colony Wing Gundam Zero, also known as the Proto Zero, I believe. I'm not really caught up on the terminologies outside of the anime. So yeah, this is a 1/44th scale, and is the next in my admitted obsession with a Gundam model kits. So yeah, just like the other two that I've reviewed so far, the Wing bootleg and the Wing Zero custom EW, the Endless Waltz version, I managed to get this relatively cheap. Not off AliExpress this time. I actually got it off of Amazon. Unfortunately, it is sold out at the time of this recording. But if I find a replacement link, I will post it. So yeah, but yeah, admittedly, like, this is my least favourite design of the three, or if you're counting the version that they recreated, the Wing EW. I'm not sure where that actually comes from. I seen it, knew I didn't recognise it, so didn't bother with it. But yeah, this is my least favourite of the three designs, mostly because it's overly bulky, in my opinion. The Zero system is supposed to make you, like, what's the word? Act like a machine? Like the machine thinks for you, that sort of thing. I never really got it in the show. Admittedly, I was a child. But yeah, going back to the Wing EW quickly, it looks like the Wing Zero EW, minus the wings, and with this sort of colour scheme. Which is, yeah, a bit strange. But yeah, enough of my ramblings. Let's take a look at his box. So yeah, standard Gundam Wing high grade model kit box. Slightly slimmer than the real grade EW that I reviewed. But yeah, nice render or picture, whatever you want to call it. We'll just call it a drawing on the front, with Gundam Wing logo, Bandai Namco, all your usual stuff. Again, made in 2014, so far all of these have been really older kits, which I'm kind of surprised they're still as readily available. Like, spoilers, I have been trying for a while, well, I say a while, the past couple of weeks, to find the rest of the mobile suits from Gundam Wing. We're talking Sandrock, Shenlong, Heavy Arms, and Death Scythe, my favourite. But yeah, everywhere's always out of stock with them, and I'm not sure why. I have ordered a Heavy Arms and Death Scythe from AliExpress. We will see if they show up. They have not yet shipped. Getting a bit worried, but yeah, just if they show up, I'll be sure to review them. You know I will. So yeah, going back to the box, got the standard stuff. Oh, look at that, we have a Bluefin logo. This was back when they were still the main distributor. I'm not sure if they're still the main distributor for America. It's honestly been that long since I've ordered anything from the US. Brexit kind of ruined that. But yeah, some nice pictures and stuff on the sides. Most of it's in Japanese, you can't really read it. Anything on the bottom, just a promo shot and a picture of him. I think spoilers at the end of the show, where he basically saved the Earth from a colony that was about to crash on the Earth. Colonies, for those of you who are not aware, in the Gundam universe, are basically mostly meteors or asteroids that the Earth has colonized, hence colonies. But yeah, it's a bit of a weird show, not gonna lie, but I do love it. I loved it when I was a kid, and getting these kits has reignited my love for the franchise as a whole. So I'll probably be looking into more modern stuff. We shall see. But yeah, let's take a look at his accessories. So yeah, in terms of accessories, he comes with just the bare minimum that a model kit would require. I think the newer high grade kits, like the Death Scythe and stuff like that, come with extra hands and things like that. So they do come with some extra parts. But these older kits, bare bones, just enough so that you can get them into nice poses, and that is your whack. So he comes with, apart from the shield, which is on him, I will show that off in a second. Comes with a pair of beam sabers this time. Really nice, really long. Because these are actual, like, proper beam sabers, not bootlegs, there is no bubbles in the plastic, which is good. Really like that. There's a bit more detail in these beam sabers compared to what we're used to. And unlike the EW, I forgot to mention that in that review, but the Wing Zero EW's beam sabers were like a dark green. They weren't this luminescent green, which I really like the look of. I think these actual glow under black light or blue light. I don't have that on me, unfortunately, so yeah, you're not seeing that bit. They do pop out easy enough. Beam sabers, for those of you who aren't aware, are basically lightsabers if they were a size of a 2-story building. So yeah, I heard someone say that these went into his shoulders, but I didn't see anywhere to actually store them in there. Do they? No, they don't fit. They don't fit in there at all. I think someone lied to me. Yeah, we'll go over that in articulation anyway at the end. So his shield is nice. It's much nicer than the bootleg. Even though the bootleg was based off of, I think, the very first high grade After Colony kit for Gundam Wing. I mean, it's the exact same box. I did look into it. But yeah, they upgraded kits after that. So it no longer attaches to his wrist or his fist with a peg. Instead, it just wraps around the arm. So you can clip that on, easy as that, and it still leaves space for like a beam saber or anything like that, which I do appreciate. I didn't like the fact that I had to choose with the Wing Gundam whether to use the beam saber or the beam rifle. Speaking of, you get his twin Buster rifle now. It looks big and chunky. That is because it is 2 guns that connect together. The Wing Zero EW expanded on this with much larger guns. So yeah, but I like these. There's a bit of colour on them compared to the other versions of the gun. And yeah, when you put it into his hand, it says in the instructions that he doesn't hold it with both hands, even though in the movie he did, which is a bit strange. But yeah, if you fold that down, it will pop into his hand easy enough. And because it's hollow plastic, he doesn't have any issues holding anything up. Finally, he comes with a pair of extra feet. That is for his flight mode or his transform state. For some reason, the Wing Gundam had this weird transformation ability for, I guess, space travel, but it's a mobile mech suit. You're going to be able to travel in space anyway. But yeah, basically turns him into a bird. I will not be showing that off in this review because it's stupid and I don't like it. Plus, they expect you to parts form for this, even though the original Wing Gundam used its own legs. I don't get that. We've actually regressed. Bandai, not sure. He does come with a set of stickers, which you put on him. Most of them are on there. They are not obtrusive in any way. They look really nice. They do fit the theme. There's one in the middle behind the clear green plastic bubble. You get 2 green metallic parts on the sides. One for his eyes, 2 for the sensors on his head, and one teeny tiny one, which I think is actually for the rifle. But I didn't bother putting that on because it's so tiny, you'll never even notice it's missing. So yeah, that's it for the accessories. So let's take a look at the figure now. So looking at Wing Zero, or Proto Zero himself, he is really nice. Again, for these smaller scale figures, they're like in between classic vintage style Star Wars figures, the 3.75 inch, and the standard 6-inch scale that Figure Arts and the Black Series and stuff have. So yeah, it's a bit on the small side, but they pack a hell of a lot of detail into that. For like full disclosure, as with all of them, I have done a little bit of panel lining with a set of Gundam markers. That's them there. I got them off Amazon. They're a little bit expensive, but at this point, they have paid for themselves. I have built 3 kits with them so far, and they show no signs of wearing out. So yeah, well worth the money if you want your kits to look anywhere near decent on your shelf. Same with cutting it and putting it together, shaving it and all that sort of stuff. I got a kit off Amazon. I will link both of those in the description below. So yeah, it does look really good now that I've done all that. It really doesn't take much extra time or effort. I just done it as I was building it. You don't really notice. Unfortunately, those of you who have noticed, I do have a nice big sticker around my hand because I was daft. I was in a bit of a hurry to build this because I was going out afterwards, and yeah, I absolutely, like an absolute plonker, poked my hand with the sharp, shiny hobby knife. So yeah, fun times. Don't do what I do, folks. Take your time. So yeah, but once those details are on, like, it's really, really nice. Even though I don't think this is my favourite form of the wingsuit, like, by any means, I do still think it looks really nice, especially with all the added details. It's a bit harsh. Let's bring down the white balance a little bit so you can see some of that. There we go. So yeah, those pore type markers are amazing. They really are. One thing I will say is the blue plastic used on this kit, and I believe most of the Gundam model kits, it tends to leave stress marks and stuff really easy. It's not the best plastic by any means, so be very careful with it. You can actually see there's like a mark there from when I cut the nub off of the sprue. It's actually visible in both arms now that I notice, which is a bit of a shame, but it is what it is. So yeah, on the back, instead of wings, we now have a pair of thrusters. That is one of the reasons I kind of didn't like the... Apologies, I'm trying to find a place to hold the figure without all of those panel lines smudging. But yeah, the main reason I didn't really like this suit even though it's a superior suit in terms of the show, is purely because they got rid of the whole look of the Wing Gundam, with those sort of wing designs, and replaced it with a pair of thrusters, which, yeah, way to get more boring somehow. But yeah, they split open, easy enough. That's mostly for when he's in the air. You will notice I panel-lined inside it, because if you're going to see inside it at any point, you're as well making it look presentable. And there is a nice slice of life for you. So yeah, in terms of articulation, we have your standard affair. I will pop this off because it will get in the way of articulation. You know it will. So head is on a ball joint, nice tight ball joint this time. So it looks up and down really nicely. Swivel, pivot, both at the neck and the head, and can hinge back and forth. So yeah, you can also pop those off and repeal. It shows a little tiny set of Gatling guns. Because they're not on hinges, I won't ever be using that. That's more just like added detail, if anything else. The shoulders, because these shoulders are so bulky, they are a bit obtrusive, but you can work around it. It goes up that much. If you move the wings back, I will get to the articulation of those in a second. Does swivel. Really nice if you don't pop it completely out the socket. Really nice butterfly joint right there. Bicep swivel. Double joint at the elbow, which I believe if it didn't run into that, there we go, you get nearly full range, which is really good. Just a simple ball joint at the wrist. The that thruster has ended up away in here. Let's say pop that out, because the shoulder looks a bit bare without it. The wings can go out, not too much. They are on a ball joint. It just slides in, so they go in and out like such. They do have a swivel because it's ball joint. They hinge at the backpack section. Both of them pop out like that, and they can also go up like so. So there is a lot of movement in the wings alone, which is quite impressive, to be honest. The chest section doesn't have any movement. It's purely in the waist, but the waist does get some really nice forward. Don't go too far forward, it will just pop off. Can go back, swivel, tiny bit of pivot, not a lot. If we get those out the way again, the skirts at the side can go like that. The front skirts can also do that. The back skirt is completely stationary, that does not move whatsoever. These come on the sprue in one piece, but you can cut it down the middle and have them move separate. It gives a lot more dynamic range of movement. I will quickly mention the sort of head crest, the yellow part. Those do have safety nubs, I think that's what they call them. But if you have a pair of snips, just cut them off and they'll be totally fine. Jump cut, apologies folks, I just took a lovely coughing fit, not sure why. So yeah, going back, he can just about do the splits. You have to move the skirts out the way to do so. You can have him kick up really far. He does have thigh rotation. The hip section does kind of have pull down hips, but it's all in one section, so I'm not really sure why they bothered, to be completely honest with you. Knee, double joint, gets that far. Feet, this front piece does move in and out of the way. This entire back section moves for transformation, but it gives us a nice look in here. It's just on a ball joint for the feet, so you get some decent rocker. Not a whole lot, but yeah, make use of all the pieces of articulation as needed. I'll just pop that back on there. So yeah, being a high grade, it uses what's called polycaps, which is basically like a soft rubbery plastic. I have heard it does get a bit loose over time, so that is something to keep in mind. But yeah, guys, all in all, a really nice looking kit. I do really like it. As I said, not my favourite version of the wingsuit, but in my quest for all of this scale for the mobile suits from Gundam Wing, it'll do on my shelf. So yeah, guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and until next time, I will see you all later.